I remember because it was January. Well, I went into the MTC January 5th. It was the first day that BYU opened up conference play jim or senior year, so I was kind of upset about missing that, but it was all good. It was all good. But I flew out to the mission January 24th. It was my brother's birthday. And I remember flying from Salt Lake. We had to go to Salt Lake to Denver, and then we flew to California. Then we flew into Santa Barbara. And I remember leaving Provo, and it was freezing, and getting into Santa Barbara, it was 75 degrees. It was clear. There was the ocean. It was green. It was beautiful. I was like, I have the best mission in the world. And so we got in the car, and I actually rode down to Ventura. There were some vans there that the assistants and some other people, they shuttled us down. And so me and two other missionaries got in the car with our mission president, and he took us to Ventura, and I don't remember talking about much, but they took us around Ventura. They took us up on the hill. There's this big cross that everyone goes to, and it overlooks the ocean, and it was just beautiful. And I remember taking pictures and being like, this is great. But also I was really nervous because I was like, I know it's not going to be like this forever. At some point I'm going to have to go talk to people. And that night, the assistants, we were having a orientation, and then the assistants would take us out to the boardwalk, and we would meet with people. And I remember being so scared. It was dark. On the way there, I remember talking to the assistants, and everyone was asking them how long they'd been out, and they were saying they were pretty close to going home. I was like, man, I'll never get there. But I remembered going out on the boardwalk and looking for people, and being with my companion. Will be like, this one, we're going to talk to him, and just, nope, gonna keep going. And then finally we talked to a guy. I finally was like, you know what, I've got to do this. And we stopped and talked to a guy, and he was really nice, and he took a card from us, and it was great. It was really good. I don't know if anything ever happened with him, but it was great to be able to just talk to someone. People really are nice. Most of the time they're okay with you talking to them. And then I woke up the next day. We had a transfer meeting where they announced who the new zone leaders were. Everyone that was being transferred met in Ventura, met their new companions, and then they went from there. We had a meeting. It was spiritual. It was great. And then meeting my trainer. He was just a short little guy, Elder McCary. And I remember being like, all right, this is great. And I was going to serve. I was assigned to the Bakersfield College Heights ward. And so I was like, man, I'm going to be serving on a college campus or something. That's what I was thinking. And then I was in Bakersfield, which I'd heard was hot, the hottest and the coldest place in the mission, coldest during the winter and hottest during the summer. And obviously it's winter, so I was like, oh great, I have to leave Ventura and Santa Barbara. Anyway, we had a member that took us back to Bakersfield, and it's about a 3-hour drive from Ventura, so we got to talk a lot. The member took us out to eat. It was all good. It was great because they had all these fruit stands and things. You could buy honey, you could buy fruit on the side, and I was like, I'm not in Utah anymore. So then we got to Bakersfield, and there's this mountain pass they call the Grapevine. And we were coming out of the Grapevine, and it was just really foggy, just really, really thick, and you couldn't see much. And I remember my trainer saying, I know you can't see it, but Bakersfield's just right there. And I was like, it is? There's a whole city there? There's a quarter of our mission is here, and I can't even see it? Bakersfield has really bad air quality, and so I was like, ooh boy, here we go. You know, I came from a small town, up high in the mountains. It was always clear, and so I was like, this is not what I'm used to. So we went right to work, and College Heights was not a student ward. It was just called College Heights because the college was near, one of the colleges was in the ward boundaries. So it was just a family ward, and I was like, oh, okay. So I guess just a little further along, a couple weeks later, I remember it rained. This would have been like early February, and it rained. And I remember the next morning I woke up and everything was so clear because I cleared out all the smog and everything. And I remember looking and being like, we're in a valley? There were mountains everywhere, and I was like, I've never seen those before. That's how bad the smog was at the time. And so that's kind of where Bakersfield got its bad rap, is because it is warm during the summer. I remember riding my bike, and it's like there was a CVS that we lived by, and it had the temperature up on the marquee, and it was sometimes it would say 115. And so it was warm, and it was cold, not Utah cold, but it was cold, 40s. That was probably coldest during the day. But man, I sure loved Bakersfield. There were a lot of great people. I remember meeting the ward, and they were always just all of them were so kind. And I remember all of them just saying, the mission president told us they send the very best missionaries here. And I was like, I'm brand new, so I don't know how, So, but they were just I just think that was more about them being kind and just being like, we believe in you, we're here to help. They were very helpful, and going and meeting with investigators. Even though at the time there wasn't much work going on. It was kind of a slow time for us, but it picked up really quickly.